Hey, what's up, guys? It's Artbook Addiction here, and we're here with a new video, right? So today I wanted to talk about where I get my art books, right? So a lot of questions that I get online and through the Reddit are where should I look for art books, right? There's places that like may have more rare art books. There's places that might have better prices, right? So there's a lot of different options for you right now. Obviously, there's there's Amazon, but there's a lot of better options out there. But Amazon is always a good option. But we always want to look for somewhere that can get us a little bit cheaper price. Maybe if we don't care if it's used or something. There's a lot of different options, right? So yeah, we're gonna get into that today, right? Please, before we start the video, hit that like, hit that subscribe, check out my Patreon if you want to support the channel. With all that said, let's start talking about it. So, when I find an art book that I like, that I want, I kind of go through like a little bit of a process before I fully dive in. Okay, so first I want to see the art book, like as many pages as possible, right? As I'm sure many of you do, right? I want to know what I'm getting, because there's a lot of art books that are, like, especially for Japanese art books, there could be like, oh, well, maybe you're getting a fan book, right? And a fan book may have a lot of art, or it could have like some art and then just like pages and pages of text that's all Japanese and I can't read, so it's like I can't even consume the content if I wanted to, right? So that's a very important thing to note when you're purchasing an art book, right? Like, is it a full art book, right? These are the questions you got to ask yourselves, right? When it comes to like most English-based art books, I'm like, it's pretty safe to know what you're gonna get, right? It's mostly Japanese books that you're kind of getting into the weird territory, like, is this a fan book? How much of it is interviews, right? Like, how many pages does that interview take, right? There are many different variations, and some are better, some are worse, right? There's some that just have like a small section for interviews, right? And then it's just all art. So it's really important to see what you have in store for you, right? So for that one, the one that I go to, right, is e-hentai, right? I get, yes, it's a scary hentai website, right? You don't know what's going on there. There's all these ads. It's very scary. Okay, all I gotta say is get some ad block, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look, and I'm gonna show you how to kind of navigate your way through this thing. All right, let's do that. Okay, so for our example today, I'll be using Pieces 3 by Masumine Shiro, right? So this is just like I said, like a mock situation. I just use this as an example for browsing and looking for an art book, in particular. This one, is Japanese. It has some rarity, has a big artist name to it, but there's some obscurity to it, so that creates a nice little situation for us, right? So, when navigating this site, right, obviously there's a lot of risque stuff, right? So you want to do this obviously in a room where you're not going to be like surrounded by humans, right? Lest you be judged. All right. So how do you navigate this site, right? It's actually fairly easy, right? So always there's tags and stuff, but the best way, like, let's say like you want to cut right to what you want, right? So the best tag for that is art book, right? So here you can see it right here. This is the art book tag. You could just search this wherever. I really recommend that you get an ad block, right? Or you get ad block when browsing the site. Otherwise, it's just a huge mess, right? So, I'm gonna show. Let's see. go to show tag galleries, right? So that's another thing. So like if you click a tag, it's not just gonna go to it. You have to go here, and it's gonna show little menu right here, and then you go to the tag galleries, right? And so from here, there's going to be a lot of different art books that you can get for yourself. You can look at them. A lot of my art books that I review are from this site, right? And as you can see, there is a great selection, both in English, both, Japanese, whatever you want, right? It really depends on who's uploading. There's a huge community on eHentai that is, specifically there to, show off art books, right? Or upload art books, right? I feel like, it's kind of funny because the website itself is, a hentai website, right? But it feels like the real community on this site is not there for the hentai. It's there for uploading art books, right? And there's a huge community that scans, uploads, there's like different websites that go and they all kind of like convene here on eHentai, right? So it's a great resource for art books. So if you guys are like kind of spent on money, if you're looking for like an art book that's like they don't sell it anymore, it's too expensive, prohibitively expensive, you could go here and find what you want, you know what I mean? And there's like if you're willing to see something sexier too, it's a perfect resource, right? Look at that. See, there's like they got stuff like this where it's like, oh, you don't expect this on a hentai website, right? So there's a lot of options, safe for work or otherwise. Okay, really great resource. But we're here to find a specific art book, so let's do that. Best way to search an art book, on this website, you can see. Obviously, there's a bunch of tags. You could tag them out, right? So you're like, oh, I don't want this. But sometimes it's better to just leave it on so that you get like the widest search possible, right? So best way to do this is to look up the artist, right? So if you know the artist's name, Masamune Shiro, you can see I have it right there. Okay, there you go. Apply filter, and now we're gonna get a whole bunch of books that have the Masamune Shiro tag on it, right? So obviously we're looking for specific books, so let's look for that. Okay. Let's see. You can see it like this is here's Wild Wet Quest, Pieces 8, Wild Wet West, right? What we're looking for is pieces number 3. Here you go, and there it is. Okay. And so we're back to where we started, and you can see that searching for stuff is fairly easy, right? This is the layout that you'll have when you have the ad blocker. There's not going to be so normally there's be all these crazy ads, and it's scary, okay? It's scary. But another great feature of this site is, obviously you could download books, right? So there's the archive download, okay, which requires points, all right? So how do you get points on here? It's kind of annoying, right? But okay, before we do that, there's usually, so what you always want to look for is the torrent, right? So, I don't need to explain torrenting, right? But they'll give you a link right here, or a magnet link that you could use to get your torrent and get your thing going, right? If they don't have that, you'll need to use the archive download, right? From which you need to get points, right? So, to get points, you have to play this kind of stupid game, right, that they have. It's kind of like a little RPG thing. Or what you could do, which is what I did, you could upload art books, right? So they'll give you points for uploading whatever book that you have, right? So I've done that myself, okay? And sometimes, like, if you find an art book that's like from somewhere else, you're like, oh, well, it's not on the site yet. You could upload and get some points that way, right? That's for the more dedicated people. Most people will just look for a torrent, right? Like I said, and it's cool to just either you get the file, or if you just look through the gallery, it's a good way to preview your art book, right? So yeah, so now, in this part of the process, we've looked at the art book, we've previewed it, we've decided, hey, I like this book, I want to purchase it, right? So where do we go from there, right? Well, there's many options for that, okay? So what I like to do first is I go on eBay, okay? I go on eBay, and there are, you know, as you can see, there are many different little prices for books. You could always, like, you know, you have to look around, okay? Sometimes searching for the book itself may not yield what you're looking for. So sometimes it's more applicable to Google the item and then put the store next to it. So it's like, you know, Masamune Shirow, Pieces 3, Wawa Quest, Artbook, okay, and then you put eBay at the end, right? You know, I don't need to explain searching, but sometimes you can't use the in website search engine and get what you want, because like sometimes the book may appear or maybe it won't. You know what I mean? So sometimes you're gonna have to, like, you know, jimmy around to just find what you're looking for, right? But you know, that's part of the process, right? So we find the eBay price, right? Obviously we want to look for the Amazon price. Hold on. No, this is Amazon GP. That's for the future. Okay, so obviously Amazon, you want to look for it. And what you want to do is obviously compare prices. Okay, so you know, on Amazon I couldn't really find this book, right? So, like, you know, it's I can't really do anything about that, you know. But what you could do, right, and this is something that most people don't know, is you could visit Amazon JP, right? And what's great about Amazon JP is that there are you could get the book, and the shipping usually, right, is $20 flat. Okay, so, you know, like, so for some books that's like, hey, that's too much. You know what I mean? I could get the book imported and it'll be cheaper or something like that. Most of the time, with Japanese books, they're gonna include the shipping price with the book so that they get a profit, right? Makes sense, you know, but it means that the book is gonna cost more, right? So in those situations, it may be cheaper to just buy the imported version, right? But there are certain situations where you get the book for much cheaper, right? So as you can see here, right, the standard price, $15, right? So if we got that with the shipping, it's about 35, you know. So that's a pretty approximate to the eBay listing we saw, right? But there are used options right here. So let's take a look at those, right? So look at that. So you'll know. So for my account, if you have an Amazon account, an Amazon JP account, it's really easy to set up and everything. You can have your address be in the U.S. or wherever you're at, right? And I don't know if they shipped everywhere, but I'm in the U.S., so that's, you know, that's where I'm going to be basing this off of, right? And they will automatically include the shipping costs, right? So here you could see that. So a good way to calculate Japanese to not English to USD, right? Is just put like move the comma, or sorry, replace the comma with a decimal point and just put it right here in the middle, right? So this right here is 2,040 yen, right? Just move the thing, put it right in the middle, and it's $20.40, right? Basically, we're a little bit bigger, so you get a little bit of a discount, but it's like, you know, if you want to know the basic pricing, that's what it is. So this 888 yen, $8.88. Okay, very easy. Okay, so with that pricing, okay, we get this book for $8 and $20 shipping. So that makes it cheaper than the alternative. Okay, it may take longer, but, you know, maybe you don't care about that kind of stuff, right? But there's other options right here that where it's like oh, $50 shipping? No, screw that. I don't want to do that, right? You might as well just buy the book from the thing, from either Amazon or eBay, right? But Amazon JP is a great resource to finding those really rare books, okay, or those Japanese books that you're like, man, I really don't want to pay like $90, right? So there's like, so for example, there was the what do you call it, Gurren Lagann archive, which I do have right now, and it was like $70, $80 on eBay, right? But then I found it on Amazon JP for $40, okay, plus the $20 shipping, right? So in total about $60, right? But that's way better than paying $80 for it, okay? And so, like I said, a lot of people don't know about Amazon JP, or are afraid of like, oh, international shipping. Oh, you know, it's like Amazon will take care of that for you, okay? And usually, right, they'll ship through Amazon JP, or sorry, not Amazon JP, through DHL, right? DHL, and they'll get the book to you like within 4 days, okay? So it's super quick, and DHL does a really good job on their shipping. All you have to do is like, hey, you want to tap for, you know, no sign release, which you should do, right? So that even if there's no one there, they don't have to sign for it. They could just drop it off. Or if you want a signature, you could just leave it, right? But yeah, this is basically the process that I go through to get the book that I want, right? Yeah, hold on. Let me switch real quick. So another thing that I wanted to highlight for you guys is the Art Book Addiction Reddit, right? So, you know, if you guys are like you know, looking for links and stuff like that, I've compiled it all onto my Reddit, right? So you guys can see right here, and you can see there's other people posting stuff too. But like, you know, if you guys see a book that I reviewed, right, and you're like, oh, I really want it, you know, and I want to know like the pricing and stuff like that, or, you know, maybe my best options, right? You could easily look to the Reddit, you know what I mean, just to see what, you know, what I posted. Okay, so as you can see right here, we have like my reviews, and let's say like right here we have the links right here, you know, obviously. So I post an image, you know, just as a way to have the links there, right? But then you can see right here that I have the links all set up for you guys, right? So let's see, for the preview book, right? This is where I get the files and all that stuff, okay? And then you can see you could buy the book right here. It'll take you to the, you know, either Amazon or whatever website, you know. Sometimes, like, I usually won't post the Amazon JP site because most people can't access it, right? And then there's a link to my review, as always. So yeah, if there's a book that you saw that I reviewed and you want it, and you're like, oh, you're looking for links or whatever, you know, there you go. Check out the Reddit. You know, most people don't really know about the Art Book Addiction Reddit, but it's here, kind of like as a way to archive my collection, and and give access to books that people may want, right? So just wanted to give that little shout out to my own shit, right? You know, promote my Reddit, and it's also there for the convenience of everyone else. Okay, but yeah, go ahead and check that out. Nice. Okay, so yeah, that is basically the process I go through to purchase a book. There are obviously other websites and here and there that you could, there's like, Stuart NG, there's like some, I think AsiaSoft has some stuff, right? There's a lot of different sites, but if you want to know what I do when I'm purchasing my books, right, which I have many, right, you can see, woo, right, I filled up my bookcase, so this is fucked. This is just a big art book tower, right? Yeah, so it's very important to know the different options that you have, right? And a lot of people, like I said, they don't know about Amazon JP, so let's kind of review the process of what we're doing, right? So one, you want to see the book, okay? Know what you're getting, right? Two, you want to check on the obvious sites, right? Amazon, right? eBay. You want to know what's your base pricing, okay? Then you want to find more obscure options, okay? Like like Amazon JP, which is, you know, like I said, most people don't know about it, right? And like what's great is that you get a lot of great used books from Amazon, from Japan, right? Because like their standard for used is like nothing. It's like the tiniest little eep, you know, and then it's like, oh, price drop like to like nothing. Okay, so you get it used, very good quality, and shipped really quickly for a great price. Okay, sometimes it'll take a little bit longer, but if you're willing to eat that, then you could actually save a lot of money. Okay, yeah, that's so you go through those things, right, and then you finally reach the spot and you get the art book, and there you go. Okay, hopefully it ships in all good. You know, the packaging is good. You know, I've had problems with shipping before, but you know how UPS is, right? So at the end of the day, getting an art book can be difficult, right? But if you know how to navigate yourself in the best way possible, you can not only see the art book, all of it, right? You know, obviously there's my reviews and all that stuff, right? But you could also find the book for a much cheaper price, right? And you don't have to settle for paying like a ridiculous amount for a book on eBay or something, right? And you're like, oh no, it's too obscure for me to find. Like, really, I recommend checking out Amazon JP, right? Do it on Chrome, okay, so that you can make sure, that's something I didn't mention earlier, do it on Chrome so that you get the translation, okay? It's very easy. Once you set up your account, you could just be browsing, okay? Yeah, I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you guys have any questions, maybe you guys have a resource of your own, leave it down in the comments below. Please hit that like, hit that subscribe, check out my prints and Patreon if you want to support the channel, all that bullshit. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks a lot.